the idea of me like walking out to the podium and these are things that personally I've like sat down, like on bus rides, like since I was a kid, like dreaming of what I would do if I ever win a world medal. And yeah, so I think a lot of things were just going in my mind. And the first thing I did was I looked at my coach, who coaches me here at Florida, and I was like, I mean, I knew like for both of us, we were like really angry with losing a gold medal, but like at the same time, like, I mean, this is any athlete's goal. So it's like we did it.
Tell me, what was that experience like for you? You were the youngest in the field, and it was your first Olympics. What was it like?
Um, yeah, I mean, I say this now because like I didn't feel how serious it was. Like for me, I was like, oh, I'm at the Olympic Games, but I'm 16, I'm 17. It just doesn't like really like for me. It was just like I'm going to high school tomorrow. I'm gonna go back August. Like I went back home August like 16th or something, and then August 24th I was in high school. Just a regular student. So like for me, it didn't really like feel as much, and like also being young, like being younger than 18, and in a competition that like gathers so many people, most people above the age of 18, it's a little bit different. So I'm like, I missed out on Tokyo, so I'm really excited on this one to kind of like get to experience it as like actually like feeling how much I've worked hard to reach this one. I mean, not that I didn't work hard in 2016, but I was like as a kid, um,
Yeah.
I was
You
more
see things
focused on
a
like,
bit
oh, am I gonna get into
differently.
college? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a different mindset. I think I've been through so much more now, and like I really like understand how important this is to me.
What's your mindset like to be in a sport, trying to succeed in a sport that's really dominated by one country like China, or more or less they are the dominant force in the sport? What's your mindset like in terms of how can you beat them?
I think my mindset has changed, through time. At the beginning, it was like, oh, it's impossible to beat them. Um, it, I mean, it will take for like a Chinese diver to miss a dive for in order, and I have to hit all my dives, and they have to miss one dive in order for me to, to win or like to beat them. Um, but right now, like my mindset is, dive, perform, um, show myself, how much hard work can pay off, and that's it. Like I'm not really focused on, how to beat someone at this point. Like I just really want to prove to myself that, all I've been through my entire life, um, bad and good, like made me reach where I am right now. I think that's my mindset now on diving.
Uh, I like that. So let's go back to the beginning. How did you get into the sport?
Um, I got kicked out of gymnastics because I was told that my legs are medically incapable of doing um, like athletics. That I like have the opposite of like both legs. And so my dad's a surgeon. So he was like, "Well, that's not true, and you're not staying." I hated gymnastics. Like I'll be honest with you, like I just absolutely hated gymnastics. So diving was very close to gymnastics. Yeah, and I started, and my coach picked up on my talent, and I just stuck with it.
But yeah, a lot of
But yeah,
athletes, they have a certain like dream in mind or target in mind, and once they get to taste that thing, they want more. Like they say, it's kind of addictive, and
yeah,
they want more. And I'm wondering if
yeah,
that's what happened with you.
yeah, 100%. And like even this medal, now I'm just like, wow, like I don't like, I want to keep going. Like I want more. Um, it's hard. It's definitely hard. It's hard because this is my entire identity. So I've been diving since I was 7. Like before that I was a gymnast since I was 3. Like my entire life has been athletics. Like I'm smart, or like what people tell I'm smart, intelligent. I'm good at school, but like diving is what I know.
But yeah, a lot of
But yeah,
athletes, they have a certain like dream in mind or target in mind, and once they get to taste that thing, they want more. Like they say, it's kind of addictive, and
Yeah.
they want more. And I'm wondering if
Yeah.
that's what happened with you.
Yeah, 100%. And like even this medal, now I'm just like, wow, like I don't like I want to keep going. Like I want more. Um it's hard. It's definitely hard. It's hard because this is my entire identity, you know. So I've been diving since I was 7, you know, like before that I was a gymnast since I was 3. Like my entire life has been athletics. I you know like I'm smart, or like what people tell I'm smart, intelligent, you know, I'm good at school, but like diving is what I know. um so it's hard like getting out of that. I think now is harder than I was when I was 17, because when I was 17 I was like, oh, diving is just, you know, it's gonna pay for school. I'm like, that's about it. But now diving's paid for my schooling, you know, has paid for my flights home, has paid for my friendships, has paid for my living in the United States, you know, has literally paid for everything else. Not just money wise, but like my personality, just everything. So now it's like really hard to get out of that and, you know, move on.
So you mentioned now the things that diving has given you, but as a sport itself, what do you like most about it?
um I mean, obviously winning, like that feeling I love. I'd never had that I never had it to the extent that I have it now, but that feeling of hitting a dive and looking at my coach and, you know, getting that excitement and that like kind of like you know, handshakes, like, hey, there you go, like I live for that. Like diving, like that hug you get after a good competition. um that's what really I love about diving is the team. Like, you know, I've since 2 years ago, my team's been like absolutely incredible. You know, like I make NCAA's, they come hug me. I lose, they come hug me. Nothing about diving itself. I mean, obviously, like the feelings of ripping and the feelings of, you know, doing a clean dive is good, but like nothing about diving is really what makes it so good. It's really like what's around it, the people around it. So I'm very fortunate with the people I've got to experience the past few years with.
That's great. And I wanted to ask you, what's the most challenging part of what you do?
Oh, um, I think now that it's different than when I was younger. Um, I mean, disappointment. That's, you know, you work so hard and then you have a bad meet, you fall off the board, you smack. It's embarrassing. Like the crying you get after that. Like nothing's made me cry as much as diving. Um, Obviously all the mental stuff that come with it. Like I think I've been through all the, you know, types of anxiety, the types of eating disorders, the types of like depression that come along with diving. So I think there's like two aspects. There's like the aspect of like regular sports, like the challenges of overcoming failure. And I think because we're a sport that, you know, you're in a swimsuit, like I've had comments before, you know, like from previous coaches and like everything. So it's a hard. I'm in a much healthier place now, but I think it's definitely like everything that's happened, like all the challenges I've met, especially psychological challenges that I've been through since I was a kid. Um, I still struggle with now, although like I'm really like past that. But because I'm past that and I'm looking back and I'm like really like reflecting on things, so I think that is the biggest challenge of diving is like when I, you know, when I there's a day that I don't feel good in my swimsuit, or like there's a day that I just like mentally don't feel good, or like I'm having negative thoughts about like whatever it is because like of previous implications, by, you know, multiple people. It's really challenging to like sit down, look at myself and be like, you know, brush it off. Like people have backed off me. You know, coaches who've been like very like abusive to me and like they've completely backed off because of that like barrier, that line that I was like drew, and I was like, no, like enough is enough. It's very hard. I think it's very hard to stand up for yourself, especially like um, from people, like standing up for yourself to people we're the abusers at some point, like standing up for yourself and be like, no, this is not happening. You're not going to talk to me like this. You're not going to tell me this. You're not going to do this. It's hard. And my dream goal was to become a surgeon in Africa and do surgeries pro bono, um, with the WWE. That was my dream. That's still my dream. Even if I can't do surgery, it is to help do pro bono healthcare in Africa, and in southern Egypt. So, like Upper Egypt, like places where, especially like women reproductive education isn't very like prevalent. That's always been my dream. I've knew I wanted to do that since I was like 6 or 7. I've watched my dad's surgeries growing up. If I dive well for myself, and if I dive bad, then I dive bad for myself. Me and the people who have spent time and money and effort and emotion on me. I get happy for me and these people, and I get sad for me and these people. Obviously, like for my country, that's a different aspect. Just like that's part of the patriotism in my system.